up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex Yu, and you're watching the DC edition of the Ragin Nation show. This is just a web series we're talking about the DC Extended Universe. This is episode number 32, and in this episode, we're going to first start off by talking about Suicide Squad and the fact that Suicide Squad has now officially wrapped filming. Principal photography is complete, and now they're going to move on to post-production. And it's kind of crazy because I actually remember all that filming that took place in Toronto like it was last week or last month, because they had all these photos that were leaked by paparazzi and other people who were just taking photos with their camera phones, and we saw so much of what was going on. And it's kind of crazy to know that it is complete now, because all we really saw during the filming in Toronto was maybe one or two sequences. Essentially what I feel that they filmed was a battle sequence in Gotham City, and also a chase sequence involving Batman on top of Joker's ride. And that was all that I think that they filmed that was exposed to the public. Everything else was filmed secretly. I have no idea where they filmed all those other shots. They didn't show a whole lot of filming that was going on, except for this one sequence where Will Smith was rappelling down a building. But other than that, I don't think there was much more that we were able to capture, and by we I mean the general public was able to capture while they were filming. And then during that time, we got some marketing, such as Will Smith's official photo as Deadshot, and also the official members of the Suicide Squad, and then also, of course, the Comic-Con trailer, which was completely badass because it, in my opinion, it blew away the Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice trailer. It just did. Don't get me wrong, the Dawn of Justice trailer was great, but I think it was really, really cool to see the Suicide Squad trailer because it was something fresh, something that felt very different from your standard comic book character movie fare. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, they are wrapped up. They have a year to do post-production. They have 1 year to do that, all the editing, the visual effects, and all that. And we will see Suicide Squad on August 5th of 2016. All right? Moving on, speaking of other filming, Henry Cavill mentioned in an interview that Justice League will start filming in January of 2016. So, that will be January of next year, and that sounds just about right considering the fact that Justice League Part 1 comes out on November 17, 2017. So what they have here is pretty much a year and a half to start working on this. After all, post-production, the pre-production is happening right now, and principal photography will happen over the course of a couple of months, starting with January, and then afterwards it's all post-production from that point on, and then we will see Justice League in November 17 of 2017. Now, from what I understand, they're only going to be filming Part 1. They're not going to be filming it back-to-back, and I feel that this is true because Justice League Part 2 comes out in 2019. So, you know, they're going to film Justice League Part 1, the actor's going to move on to work on other film projects, and then they're going to come back to filming Justice League Part 2 after that 2-year break. Alright, so that's what's going to happen. Now, speaking of Henry Cavill and the Man of Steel, Superman, does anybody want to know when Man of Steel 2 is coming out? Well, I don't really know, but there's some rumors going around. There are rumors about what is going to happen with the fate of the Man of Steel sequel. Because look at what we got for the DC Extended Universe schedule. I mean, we got Suicide Squad, we got Wonder Woman, we got Justice League Part 1 and 2, we got a Green Lantern film, we got a Shazam film, there's also The Flash. You know, and also recently announced a possible Batman solo film, which is going to kick off the Batman trilogy. A new Batman trilogy. So when are they going to have room to put in this Man of Steel sequel? Now, based on these rumors, what's happening is that Mad Max Fury Road director is going to be directing a film for the DC Extended Universe. Now, the original film was that he was going to be directing was rumored to be the Man of Steel 2 film, okay? But apparently that's not true. Turns out that he might be a director for a different property. All right. Well, we already have a Patty Jenkins directing a Wonder Woman. We have what is that guy's name? The guy who directed Furious 7. James Wan, he's directing Aquaman. All right, we got Zack Snyder working on the Justice League films, but they haven't announced any other directors. So he could possibly be directing Flash or Cyborg, or even Green Lantern, or rather Green Lantern Corps. He could be directing any one of those 3 films. But the fact is that Warner Brothers Studios really enjoyed what, or rather they were impressed with what George Miller did with Mad Max Fury Road, and they want him for his vision for one of these films in the DC Extended Universe, and I'm really not sure if it's going to be Cyborg, Green Lantern Corps, or The Flash. Okay? Now, what's crazy about Man of Steel 2 is that, based on a rumor, a source says that Man of Steel 2 has been put on a permanent hold. Now, I don't even know what a permanent hold means. It's not even a film industry terminology. All right. You know what's crazy is that one source reported it on a website, and then all these other movie websites are running with it. Now all these websites are reporting that Man of Steel is in trouble. Man of Steel is on permanent hold. Man of Steel 2 is not going to happen. I think everybody needs to relax, because like I said, permanent hold is not even a film industry term. It's just something that somebody said. Who knows who said it? And the fact is that the Warner Brothers, or rather the DC Extended Universe schedule is stacked all the way to 2020. All right? They just recently came up with the idea of coming out with a Batman trilogy. And we're going to see Henry Cavill playing the Man of Steel himself, Superman, in Justice League, Dawn of Justice. Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. Justice League Part 1, Justice League Part 2. He might even make some cameo appearances in the other films, just like how the Marvel characters appear in each other's films. So, him showing up in him playing playing Superman in a Man of Steel sequel, it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. It just means that they don't have plans for it. They have that idea to begin with. Warner Brothers has always had that idea to begin with. The film made close to $700 million worldwide. Of course they're going to make a sequel eventually, all right? But it's not in their current plans at the moment. It's not in their current plans, which have been made public to people like us. It's in their plans to make this film eventually, but just because they said it's on permanent hold doesn't mean that they're not going to make it at all. It will eventually happen, after all. I mean, I'm sure Henry Cavill wants to play Superman again. I'm sure that they want to make more money with a Man of Steel solo film. And you know what? If this DC Extended Universe becomes successful, which I think it will, in terms of being financially successful, not necessarily critically, but financially, then for sure, definitely, if they decide they're going to make a Batman trilogy or new Batman trilogy and it works, then they might as well continue with the Man of Steel sequel. You know what I'm saying? So forget about what they say about a permanent hold. Forget about it, okay? They will eventually make this film. It's just not in their current schedule now, because there's no room to really fit in this film at the current moment. Like I said, the DC Extended Universe schedule for the next 5 years is stacked. So, you know what? If anything's going to happen, it's going to happen after 2020. Believe that. So, that's what's going on. Anyways, what do you think George Miller, the director of Mad Max Fury Road, is going to direct? Cyclops, Cyborg, or The Flash? No, Cyborg, why did I say Cyclops? Cyborg, The Flash, or Green Lantern Corps? Which one do you think? Let me know in the comments section below. And you know what? I think that he would do good in a Cyborg film. I think that I would love to see his vision in a Cyborg solo film. I think you know what, he would be the right director for that. But let me know your thoughts and what he's going to bring to the table in the comment section below. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation. Also follow me on Twitter at Ragin Nation. My name's Alex Yu. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace. Films, or rather all three of these films, American Ultra, Long Kiss Goodnight, and Born Identity, are about a spy who doesn't remember that he's a spy. Okay?